Good evening, my name's Alex Campbell.
And my name's Stephen Wilson.
And you're watching the 4th episode of Discussing Stargate.
So, our 4th episode is called The Broca Divide.
Yep.
Which the name itself is from the phenomenon of the transition from Neanderthalic period to, I guess, Bronze Age, which they go through, a fair amount in the episode.
Yeah, that seems quite adequate. I didn't realise that. That's a cool term.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, this is a good solid episode. We're starting to get into the formula, SG-1 set up, go through the Stargate, have a cool fun adventure, roll credits.
All of our characters are starting to settle into their positions, and that comes across in the dialogue and the acting.
Yep.
This is a great episode. Just because, some of the best ones are where characters lose their shit.
Yeah, you really get to see who the character is when they're unhinged.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. So yeah, this episode was written by Jonathan Glassner, who's one of the co-creators, executive producers. So yeah, it's a solid episode, good premise, good character development.
Not so many pitfalls, except one major one,
yeah.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah, okay.
So opening up, which we'll see this quite often from now on, is the briefing room where they're talking about their mission, and we get through a couple of things that they address about the universe itself, like the names for the planet, like the Stargate addresses,
X321885, whatever
designations and whatnot.
It's just set up with a binary system. The team just rolls with that. I like it.
Couldn't we call this planet something that's a little easier to remember?
It's based on a binary code the computer uses for extrapolation.
Which makes it much easier to remember.
We get a lot of good dialogue, a lot of snarky comments and whatnot, which is always nice.
O'Neill doing the humorous O'Neill thing. And then they address this planet and the map, which has gone through. The lights have broken in transit, maybe?
Maybe, they don't know.
And all they know is that the planet is dark.
And they've got, that's it.
Yeah, they don't send it back through with a thermo camera with O'Neill says. He gets his thermo goggles, we should put this on the map. Yes, you should, and send it through.
Thermal night vision goggles.
Hey, here's a question. Why doesn't the mouth have a set of these?
Do it! So they just kind of blindly decide to, dark.
What for all they know, and they do address this, is that this is the address where the Goa'uld are. That took Shara and Skara.
Yeah.
That's it, that's all they know. And so, the only character to sort of address the potentially precarious situation they're putting themselves in is Dr. Jackson.
Yeah.
And then he's sort of just hand-waved away from by the gung-ho Marines.
Yeah, SG-3 was accompanying them. If we see any Goa'uld there, we'll take him out, Jackson. Don't worry about that.
Well, okay, but the point is that you haven't seen anything and you've got no idea. So from a strategic point of view, just a bit silly.
Yeah, let's just blindly go into this adventure.
Well, the Malp probe has lights on it, doesn't it?
We think they were broken during transport through the gate.
This is crazy. We don't know what could be there waiting for us when we come through.
So they're in the embarkation room, ready to proceed through, and the SG-3 Marines say that they want to go first, but O'Neill says, no, we'll go first and you cover our backs. And the reason for this is, if they see anybody on the other side, even if it's Shara or Skara, they're just going to shoot first, open fire and just kill them all. Yeah. Right, so that we get that, and so they proceed through the Stargate, and it is dark. I guess it's dark for the characters. It's not really dark. It's that false dark lighting that they get.
It's dimly lit, but it's backlit, so you got silhouettes, and you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be pitch black, I guess, because they have the
they have the night vision camera.
Yeah.
And you know, they go through and they immediately get attacked by a bunch of, I guess, Neanderthals or cavemen.
Yeah, just wailing on them with sticks and throwing rocks at them.
Which the clubbing sound effects of them clubbing them, they sound like public domain.
Yeah, they just downloaded like the Indiana Jones hitting sample and they got 2. And they repeated
they
them.
just repeated it. The Marines come through and they shoot one of them.
And then they just open fire in the air and let them run off.
Which I guess no, they wouldn't have just shot everybody on sight.
It seemed like a tactical, educated military unit.
Which is, I guess, a bit comforting. You know, you would kind of expect that. So after the initial attack and they've cleared them all off, they proceed through the forest and they see the cavemen's encampment, I guess, and they're sort of peering through the bushes, looking at what's going on. And Jackson, and so from now on, and this is again about the characters, the actors settling into their roles.
Yeah.
We start getting tidbits of anthropology information, you know, archaeology information from Jackson, which is great, you know, something I really enjoy. And so, he's speculating, you know, they're kind of Neanderthals, they've got the brow ridge, it's very interesting. And then from Carter, we get, and this is the final, from what I can tell, this is the final sort of feministy.
Yeah, harking back to the previous episode, which you all know that we loved. Garbage. Complete garbage.
That very cringe-worthy sort of, you know, these are my morale.
And it's the rape thing again. The cavemen have a woman and they're forcibly mating with her. And Jackson's like, well, that's how cavemen procreated.
Which should have been a sufficient explanation.
Yeah.
You know, survival of the fittest.
Yeah. And she's like, well, that's not how I see it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and O'Neill's just like, sit down.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah. Good, let's move on. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, I call it rape, and I think we should stop it.
So then our main characters are introduced to these white robe-wearing people. They live on the light side of the planet. They have little slingshots.
Yeah, little slingshots.
Licking rocks.
They felt like a surgical mask thing, but for their
it's
body.
like an angelic, like wizard type robe.
Which actually they, because you know they address that that what the disease is, right? Which it's a disease that causes them people to become to de-evolve and become Neanderthals. That it's a curse from the dark gods.
Yeah, well, that's their perception of it.
So why are they wearing, you know, sort of preventative clothes if that's the reasoning?
So we get introduced to these people and then we're brought over to where they live, which is on the light side of the planet. Because this planet has a dark side and a light side. One side is constantly nighttime and the other side is constantly daytime.
Please explain.
I guess.
Which, you know, so it's not some, you know, because the dark side is a giant ass forest and then the light side is all, you know.
No, you see the canopy and the trees and then there's a clear definition from where the light stops and ends and you see people walking out.
Please explain.
So astronomically speaking, I'm not quite sure how that makes any sense.
Well, and you know, and they do this often enough throughout the series where they'll have something that's like that where you can sit there and you can question it, but they give some explanation.
It's a throwaway line from Carter.
And it's just, okay, that's sufficient, moving on, because that's not really the focus. And
it's not part of the premise, which I understand, you don't need to focus on it.
But some sort of
it's a throwaway line.
Acknowledgement to what is exactly happening.
There's a Gould megastructure blocking out the light.
Gould technology.
Or this planet is stationary and doesn't adhere to any physics. Physics just don't work here. Like anything, just a throwaway line. So that's a bit silly, but it's fine.
Well, so, you know, in my 5 viewings that I've had before I actually sat down and looked at the episode, I never even thought about it.
Yeah, true.
Which may say more about me than it does the episode. I am Steven. So they're with the light side people and they go to their main, you know, city or whatever, and it's just one structure. And so the design, the aesthetic itself looks interesting. What was it, Macedonian or something?
Yeah.
Right, with bulls and statues and stuff, and they've got the costumes. But it kind of looks, it's very bright and colourful, which I guess is fine, but it maybe doesn't look quite as realistic as you hope.
It's got a little cheap aspects to it. Nothing major, nothing to break the immersion. It's fine, you believe the culture.
Love what they've done with the place.
I was gonna do my living room like this, but it didn't go with my other stuff.
Looks Minoan. Welcome. Please, come, sit.
Yeah, just if you're critically analysing it and looking in there, you're like,
Yeah, a bit cheap. Well, it's some of it is the way they frame it with the sort of soap opera-y bloom lighting. Bloom everything out. So
highlighting everything's right there for inspection.
I must say though, the two main light side characters, the guy and the girl.
Yeah.
You know, the guy's character looks a little bit gay.
Yeah.
And the girl has very big titties.
She does have tick old bitties.
I cannot abide this one in my presence any longer. I cannot abide this one in my presence any longer.
Yeah, he's wearing like a boob tube or something. Not quite, like when those Mexican guys tuck the bottom of their shirt through the top and it does like a brassiere type of thing. I don't know whether...
I would be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, as the actor. Serious actor. I got a great role, honey. Goes in costume fitting. Aww.
Don't look at me!
Nobody takes him seriously.
She is among the touched. She can no longer function amongst us. Therefore, she is dead.
So there's a moment where O'Neill assesses the situation and there hasn't been a Goa'uld there for a generation and he determines that there's nothing here of interest. Our direct mission is to infiltrate the Goa'uld, get Shara back, get Skara back, and he's just like, let's go around.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah. Jackson starts doing the anthropologist, historian thing.
Yeah, this is of such cultural significance, which it is, he makes a fair case.
In archaeology, we don't understand why this bull keeps on coming up, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Neil's like, what's the line?
Well, so he says, I really care about all this stuff, and it's not like sarcastic.
Hey, I'm a big fan of all this stuff, but art appreciation is not what this mission is about.
It's like, I care about all this stuff, but we've got a mission, so we gotta go.
Let's leave.
And so everything else in the episode clearly shows that he does not care about any of it at all.
He's a military guy. He doesn't care about archaeology or history or anything. So they go back to the Stargate, back to the SGC. He's like, nothing there. And then the contagion starts to break out.
Wonder how that thing in your gut would like his neck ripped in half.
Please release me, Lieutenant Johnson.
Johnson, let him go. Not until this ghoul apologizes.
Lieutenant Johnson, take your seat now.
Now!
It's fair enough. At this point in time, they've only been through the gate a few times. They haven't experienced any contagions or anything.
Well, I know they will have medical checkups after coming back from each world. But what that medical checkup entails?
Yeah, blood tests or something, but they didn't do blood tests because they say after it becomes apparent there's a contagion, I tested all their blood now. And they've all got the presence of this thing. Well, okay, I mean... Well, we know that because they do say later on in the series that they do the medical checkups. Maybe they're not doing it at this point.
Maybe that's true. This was the precedent that was set because the contagion just breaks out. They have no control. They're not prepared for it
at all. Like you see in movies, they'll get the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, people in hazmats, and they'll quarantine everything off, and they've got the plastic sheets that they put everywhere. And it's just like, nah, we're gonna put them in cells, and we're gonna keep touching them.
So in 24 hours, 2/3 of the SGC are de-evolving into Neanderthals and just fighting and fucking. One of them dies or two of them die.
Two of them die.
Smash out a window.
Whoops! Oh well, I guess we're just still not going to change anything we're doing.
Yeah.
Because they don't change anything. They do okay, do all the same.
And then Hammond's on the phone to the president, and this line, like, well, if anyone gets out, we'll just shoot him and burn him.
And it's like, well, no, that seems like something you'd do back in the 50s as opposed, you know.
That's all we've got. It's broken out now.
That is our like fail-safe mechanism. Shoot them and burn their bodies. And then the entire planet became Neanderthals.
Yeah. The end.
So, before they sort of get an inkling of how widespread this thing's going to become, you know, we start to see our main characters succumb to the contagion, which is just, you know, unexplained violent outbursts and eventually just devolving into animalistic behaviour. And so we've got a scene with O'Neill in the locker room, and he, you know, so there's lots of great camera work, you know, where they sort of pan around.
Yeah, there's an interesting shot laying on a bench and the camera rolls underneath with them. I enjoyed that.
Well, so he's looking in the locker and then he shuts the door, and Carter's looking very seductively at him. And
no bra.
No bra.
Clearly no bra.
Nice.
Here's the footage.
Nipple shot.
Carter, sorry, I didn't know you were in here.
Yeah, so then she violently seduces him.
Pulls him over, starts aggressively making out with him, and he's like, nah.
Oh, maybe, not like this.
Yeah, he's like, maybe, but not in the locker room in front of everybody.
I wouldn't have said no, just go with the flow. This is happening. It's happening now,
Well, it's like 3 attempts to defuse the situation. It's like, Carter, what are you doing? No, Carter, stop. Carter, not in front of everyone. Okay, Carter.
Let's go. Come on.
Can't get enough of your love, babe. Girl, I don't know why. Can't get enough.
And so, and then they roll on the floor and he takes her to the infirmary, and it's a good scene.
Yeah, and then we start to realise it's just breaking out.
Yeah, this is way out of control.
The next scene is O'Neill losing his shit.
Yeah, well, so he's in O'Neill's in the gate room, fresh from the tussle with Carter, and Jackson comes in and he sort of questions what happened to you, to O'Neill. He goes, you know, I got seduced by Carter.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, you poor man. and then Jackson makes an offhanded comment about, oh well, is Carter okay? You know, I should go see her. And so now O'Neill's losing his shit at Jackson. It's like, oh, well, no, she's mine.
Yeah, that aggressive alpha male thing just, punches him in the head. Jackson flies back, knocks over like a monitor. And
hits his smashes onto the concrete.
Yeah.
Don't my arm.
Jumps on top of him, 3 or 4 good solid punches.
They're solid punches.
Yeah,
He's done. Like, it's over for Jackson.
One punch can kill kids.
One punch can kill.
Take it from me, one punch can be lethal. One punch can end his life and ruin yours. It takes grunt to throw it, it takes guts to walk away.
And so but then, you know, they haul O'Neill off and Jackson gets up and he's got like a little bit of blood and he's like, no. And you got fucking raped.
Yeah. Well done. So Richard Dean Anderson gets this infection. He starts to take on the characteristics really quick. They all do. They'll start getting the thickened brow and more hair, and so there's an isolation scene with him locked away, and his acting is really good at this point. He's just like off leash, like crazy.
Off kilter, yeah.
It's doing this weird sound too, which is really cool. Yeah. And it doesn't sound like it's post-production that's been dubbed in. It sounds like Richard
legit.
Doing that on the set.
He's going to damage himself.
I've been pumping him with sedatives to control him, but they wear off fast. Help me give him some more. Let's go!
I just love the idea of him like coming from MacGyver and doing this straight roll, and then he's got this other one where he can just like, I'm a caveman in this episode.
Well, so you know the and again episodes like this, and there are heaps of episodes like this, particularly sprinkled out through the first 4 seasons, which are just interesting premises. They give the actors interesting things to do.
Yes, Mom.
What? Give more what? An injection? You mean you want more sedative? You've already had more than the maximum safe dosage, twice as much as anyone else because you've been more violent.
Yes.
No, it's not safe.
Yeah!
So Jackson and Tilk aren't feeling any of these symptoms. They're not getting the caveman characteristics. So they decide to go back through the Stargate to get some blood samples.
From the light side people.
Yep. So the Dr. Janet, who was introduced in this episode,
who's you know, she's a great solid actress, and she does a really believable role, and she's there for ages.
Yeah, good. 8, 7, 6. Lots of seasons.
Well, in the first 3 episodes, they just had sort of random doctors.
Well, yeah, they all got killed.
They all got killed or something horrifically. Yeah.
Well, they try to go and get the blood vials, and it all goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Well, so they're walking through. So Tilk and Jackson are walking through the forest, and you know, and they should be on their guard, which Tilk is.
Yeah.
You know, and Jackson finds the body of the daughter of the light side dude, who's now been put back into the forest.
Yeah,
and
she's infected.
She's infected. Tilk knows that. He sees that she's infected. And Jackson's like, no, we gotta save her. And it's like, well, no, you don't. You don't have to save her. You're in a precarious situation.
Leave the body there.
And you know, and it's funny because he said, he looks down and he says, oh, how could they dump her out here? And you know, Tilk's like, well, we dumped them in a small room.
Yeah,
you know?
it's the same thing.
What's the difference?
Yeah, Jackson's like, it's for their safety. He's like, no, it's for our safety. Yeah.
It's Melosha. She's alive.
It appears she's afflicted.
So they just dump her out here?
We dumped them in a small room.
To protect them.
To protect everyone else. There's little difference.
No, you're right.
So Jackson gets taken by the Neanderthals, and it's just on Tilk.
Yeah, well it's just like, just fire your weapons, you take care of yourself.
Which I actually like, because Tilk is like the brute, he's the aggressor, he's the backbone, the shield, and the weapon, and then, everyone else is gone, and he has to do all the dialogue, discussing with them, and get the blood samples.
Which, you know, he's not great at interpersonal relationships.
No, he's not. He's very standoffish in just general conversation.
Which every other character immediately clicks on.
Sorry for the wait. Is there anything I can do for you?
You may take us to Nicholas Ballard immediately.
She's just a little anxious to see old Nick.
Oh, are you close?
Yes.
No. Yes, extremely.
Tilk gets a sample of the blood, comes back through, and Janet isolates the gene, which is...
Also, so she said, because it's like histamine, so the body produces histamine.
So if you don't have that histamine, it fights off that.
Well, so the virus feeds on histamine, and so if you take antihistamines, then it starts the virus. Yeah. It's essentially, and this, you know, you've got Jackson, who's the archaeology law dude. You've got Carter, who's the science person, and then you've got Janet, who's our medical exposition, and they just rattle off the things that it can be.
Yeah.
Well, as I said before, this microbe is a histaminolytic. It feeds on histamine. The untouched have no histamine in their bodies, so the organism couldn't survive in them.
Which is good. Like the light side, dark side thing, they don't explain it, and you're like, that doesn't really make sense. Medical thing, you know, they get into it. It's not how the real world works.
No, but...
This process would be a lot more drawn out and costly, hit and miss. But that's fine, you know, it's a 40-minute television show. Fun action adventure.
It's sufficient. It's definitely sufficient, and it's well delivered. You know, it's not. It comes nowhere near to the cliche sort of. We're going to reverse the polarization of the blah blah blah.
Yeah. Just throwing out pseudoscience words.
I reverse the polarity of the neutron flow.
Reverse the polarity. Reverse the temporal polarity.
What are you doing?
I'm reversing the polarity of my ultrasonic screwdriver's power source. Reverse the polarity.
He's reversed the polarity!
Yeah, they put time and effort into explaining it and figuring out the problem.
Which is always nice.
Getting the solutions. So then the next thing I remember is they have dart guns and they're shooting everyone.
Well, so they've loaded up the antihistamines into dark gun, so they inoculate everybody and
the SGC problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved, and they go through and they inoculate everybody else with dark guns.
That's it. Yeah, I kind of drifted off in the last few scenes. I'm a bit hungover. To set up the problem, the conflict, all that, and then just conclusion.
Well, they all emerge out of it. They all so all the now non-sick people who were
they save everybody.
Well, there's a scene where they're on the light side and they're looking as all the non-sick people come out of the dark side, and so it's like okay, right. So all these people in really shitty like caveman
Neanderthals. They've been on the dark side. They've been Neanderthals for years. Grandpa's like, Grandpa! I've been eating human flesh.
Yeah, well, you
don't know the stuff I've seen or done.
But then it's like, okay, well, so then they leave the planet, I guess. They've sort of
happily ever after.
But then, the dark side's still there, so it doesnn't really, it's kind of weird. They're just going to have this dark side there from now on.
Well, it's very symbolic, isn't it? The light side, the planet, the dark side.
It's very ham-fisted, that's what it is.
The problem solved. What do they do with this dark side of the planet?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They toss their criminals into there.
Yeah. So Grandpa just integrates back into society.
They don't have the scenes where he's like struggling with his crippling PTSD.
Yeah, they should have follow-ups of all these Neanderthals integrating back in society after 30 years of being.
Come on, Grandpa, you need to get a job. I'm going!
I'm going back to the dark side. I don't care. I'm gonna be
I can't live like this anymore.
That would be great.
Trying to civilize them. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So that's basically it. In conclusion, this was a solid episode. Good science premise, good character development, good acting from Richard Dean.
Yeah, so it's well worth a watch, and we can from now on we can expect a few more solid episodes to proceed.
Yeah, they got the formula that's gonna start bashing out cool episodes.
Yeah, there's
10 years.
Yeah, except for a couple, well, maybe one season.
Yeah,
kind of shitty.
Season 7 and 8.
That's the writer's strike, isn't it?
No, Atlantis. All the 18.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, like all the 18.
So when we
Bradley Cooper, Brad Wright, they're just like, all right,
we're done. Well, when we get to season 7, we'll say, okay, just skip this, and we'll just go to Atlantis.
All right, thank you for watching, and it'd really help out if you could like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you, and good night.
Come on, y'all. Oh, well, babe. Ah, yeah, babe. My darling, I can't get enough of your love, babe. Girl, I don't know why. Can't get enough of your love, babe.